Good evening, brothers and sisters. Good evening po sa lahat po na nanonood sa kanilang bawat tahanan, kasama kanilang pamilya, at sa lahat po na nandyan sa bawat tahanan, mabuhay po tayong lahat, sapagkat si Kristo sa gabing ito ay muling nabuhay para sa atin. My dear friends, it is said that one precious and heartwarming message in this time of quarantine and lockdown is, I miss you. I miss you. Sabi nga, every time that we hear these words, we also recognize the longing of the heart of the person because of distance in space and time. Every time that we say these words, we communicate the powerful message of love and intimacy with each other. Alam po natin, hindi naman po tayo magsasabi ng I miss you sa isang tao kung walang halaga yung tao yan sa ating puso, no? O sa ating buhay. At sa ganito pong panahon ngayon, nakakataba po ng puso pag nakakarinig po tayo ng mga ganitong pananalita. Pag sinabing, Father, na-miss na po kita. Na-miss ko na po magsimba. Na-miss ko na po ang simbahan. Na-miss ko na po mag-serve sa misa. Mga pananalita na tumatago sa ating puso dahil alam natin, merong malalim na hugot ng pananapik at pangungulila sa bawat isa dahil sa hindi pagkikita. I miss you. My dear friends, Easter celebration is also a message of missing and even longing. For whom? For Jesus. Bakit nga ba? Pagkatapos ng ating lungkot at pangungulila sa kanyang pagkamatay, noong Biyernes Santo, ngayon, ang puso ay napalitan ng pananapik at galak sa kanyang muling pagkabuhay. Today, as we look at this empty tomb, we see not death, but life. Not despair, but hope. Not uncertainty, but clarity of God's infinite love for us. And that longing of the heart is grounded on hope, because we have witnessed through the eyes of faith that indeed the Lord is true to His word. The Lord is true to His promise. Totoo ang Diyos sa kanyang salita. Totoo ang Diyos sa kanyang bawat pangako sa atin. When He said, I shall return, it was never an empty word, nor just a flowery promise for us. Anong ginawa niya sa atin? Binalikan niya tayo buo-buo. Saktong-sakto upang tayo ay sunduin at iahon sa kalungkutan at pangungulila. At pag-asang hatid ng kanyang muling pagkabuhay sa mga pusong nababalot ng hapis, ng lungkot, at ng pagdadalamhati. The same experience that Mary Magdalene, the other Mary, and the apostles had that time. After they witnessed the crucifixion and death of Jesus, their hearts were filled with grief and even guilt. Pagkatapos nila siyang iwan at pagtaguan, ngayon, ang puso ng mga apostoles ay nababalutan ng hiya at lungkot dahil sa kanilang ginawa sa kanilang matalik na kaibigan. Same thing with Mary Magdalene and the other Mary. When they went to the tomb early morning to put spices in the body of Jesus, they did not just carry with them their oil, but also their despair and longing for Him. But with the words of the angel, their hearts were consoled and encouraged. Their grief turned into hope. Their longing and missing were translated into excitement. My dear friends, the resurrection is a turning point in our life of faith that brought meaning and sense to our experiences of grief, hardships, and frustrations, on the many crosses that we encounter every day in our life. That is why for us Christians, this evening is not just an ordinary night for us. This is the loveliest and holiest of all nights, because it brought us two essential graces that console all longings and missings of our hearts, and turn even all tears into joy, especially in these times of crisis in our life. Sabi nga, ang muling pagkabuhay ng ating Panginoon ay nagdulot ng dalawang grasya na dapat pinanghahawakan natin, lalong-lalo na sa ganitong panahon ng pighati. panahon ng hirap sa ating buhay. And what are these graces? First, the assurance of presence. Kasiguraduhan ng presensya. When Mary Magdalene and the other Mary saw that the tomb was empty, their initial reaction was hysteria. Sabi nga, nagdadalamhati na nga sila sa pagkamatay ng kanilang kaibigan, nadagdagan pa yung sakit at bigat ng kanilang kalooban nung nakita nila na ang libingan ng Panginoon ay nakabukas, walang laman, sa inaakala nila, ninakaw ang kanyang katawan. But the words of the angel gave them an assuring and consoling message. Do not be afraid. He is not dead. Do not be afraid. He is not dead. The same message also for all of us today. My dear friends, Christ is very much alive in our life. He is with us. And His resurrected presence is the essence of our life. Alam niyo po, si Jesus ang tunay na liwanag ng pag-asa sa pagharap natin sa bawat dilim at gabi ng ating buhay. In our first reading, during the creation, when the world was enveloped with darkness, the first thing that God created was light, liwanag. Even in our gospel, even in the darkest disposition of the apostles, He brought the light of hope in their hearts by assuring them of His living presence. That is why even in our liturgy, we started with the liturgy of the light, with the blessing of fire to assure us that Jesus is our true hope that gives light to our life. Siya ang meralco ng buhay. Siya ang liwanag ng ating buhay na nagbibigay ng tunay na liwanag ilaw sa gitna ng bawat dilim at gabi na hinaharap natin sa ating buhay. My dear friends, in this time of pandemic, Christ is very much alive around us. Buhay ang Diyos. Buhay si Kristo. Sa mga tanong, sa mga nagtatanong, nasaan si Jesus? Nasaan si Kristo sa ganitong panahon? Let me answer you. He is present in our frontliners who continue to give us inspiration and hope in the midst of all this crisis. Nasaan si Kristo sa ganitong panahon? He is in the faces of our doctors, nurses, drivers of ambulance and janitors in the hospitals who continue to risk their lives just to address the needs of our COVID patients. Nasaan si Kristo sa ganitong panahon? Siya yung mukha ng ating mga sundalo, tanod at kapulisan na patuloy na nagpapatupad ng disiplina sa bawat komunidad upang hindi mahawaan ng virus ang bawat isa. Nasaan si Jesus sa ganitong panahon? Marahil siya ang mukha ng mga nagbebenta sa ating grocery at palengke na bumabangon araw-araw para tayo ay mapaglingkuran kahit iwan sandali ang kanilang bawat pamilya sa kanilang tahanan. Nasaan si Kristo sa ganitong panahon? Siya ang mukha ng mga kaparian at mga media team sa likod ng kamera sa bawat misa ito sa ating bawat parokya na naghahatid sa atin ng mabuting balita ng misa sa ating bawat tahanan. Nasaan si Kristo sa ganitong panahon? Siya ang mukha ng bawat miyembro ng ating pamilya na hugutan natin ng lakas at saya sa ganitong hirap na pinagdaraanan natin ngayon. My dear friends, don't just look for Christ in the church because Christ is everywhere. He is in the face of everyone around us who continue to remind us that life is beautiful, that life is full of hope because God is not dead. He is very much alive. He is with us. He is beside us. Second, empowerment of His presence. When Mary Magdalene saw the angel, she was instructed to go and tell the good news to the disciples. The same instruction that Jesus had for His apostles when they saw Him. There was empowerment of His presence. And His presence is our good news. That is why in our liturgy, Later on, we will have the removal of baptismal promises to empower in us the presence of Christ for others. Anong ibig sabihin natin? The resurrection of Christ empowers us not just to be hearers and recipients, but rather proclaimers and witnesses of His good news. Kaya kapag nanonood ka, kung nanonood ka dyan ngayon sa iyong bahay, dito sa misang ito, huwag ka lang masanay sa kakapanood sa screen ng misa. Do something for Jesus this Easter season. Tumulong ka sa mga mahihirap. Tumulong ka sa mga nangangailangan. Buhayin mo yung natutulog na pagmamahal at malasakit sa iyong puso para sa iyong kapwa-tao. Iparamdam mo sa iyong mga kasambahay, sa iyong pamilya, na ang mukha ni Kristo ay hindi lamang makikita sa simbahan, kundi kahit sa loob ng iyong tahanan, sa iyong pagmamahal, sa iyong pagmamalasakit. Because where there is love, there is Christ. Because God is love. Baka mamaya, na-miss na ng asawa o anak mo ang iyong ngiti at ang iyong lambing. Ngitian mo. Lambingin mo. Dahil yung ngiti at lambing na yan ay mukha ni Kristo para sa kanila. Give and share the risen Christ to others. Iparamdam mo ang kanyang buhay na pag-ibig at kabutihan sa iyong kapwa-tao. Assurance of presence. Empowerment of His presence. Mga kapatid, alam po natin, maraming bagay at maraming tao tayong na-miss sa nagdaang araw na ito. Na-miss natin ang simbahan. Na-miss natin mag-serve. Na-miss natin yung misa sa loob ng simbahan. Na-miss natin ang bawat isa. Na-miss natin ang mga bagay na gusto natin gawin ng malaya sa labas. This Easter season, may we intensify those longing and missing by shaping our heart in faith. May we allow the presence of the risen Christ to assure and empower us with love and hope in facing this difficult and trying time of our life. As the angel reminds us, do not be afraid. Christ is alive. Alalahanin po natin, mas makapangyarihan ang buhay na pag-ibig ng Diyos sa kahit anumang virus o virus na hinaharap natin ngayon sa ating buhay. Ang paalala lang sa atin, matuto tayong manalig sa Kanya. Matuto tayong magtiwala sa Kanyang buhay na pag-ibig at presensya sa atin.